Hey everybody, we're here to tell you about a brand new live show for our podcast, Funbearable. It's Narragansett Beer's Funbearable Dumber Break, a live podcast based around welcoming and basking in the glow of this summer. It's going to be June 1st, Sunday, at the Providence Comedy Connection in East Providence, Rhode Island.
The Rhode Island Comedy Connection in East Providence. It's
That's
fine.
right.
It's all there.
It's all there.
It's all there.
Funbearablepod.com for tickets. Narragansett Beer is our sponsor. RI Food Fights is our sponsor. We appreciate both of them. It's going to be a great night of podcasting, some improv stuff, a lot of segments. We do a lot of strange things live, quite frankly, but it's going to be a great time.
We're going to get prostate exams during the show.
That's right. One of us.
We're doing. I'm sorry. Brad's getting one. We're doing one.
Yeah.
Funbearablepod.com for tickets.
First 3 rows bring tarps.
So, I've had a positive change in my life. It's a really.
This is an ominous beginning.
It's a big thing.
I don't like any. If I tuned into an episode of anything that started with "So, I've had a positive change in my life," I'd be like, "Oh no, this is like an apology video or something."
I've embraced something controversial, but other people have embraced this as well, so I don't feel so alone.
Chuck is now a Scientologist.
God.
That was last year's thing. I'm finally getting back into watching television consistently. Like,
right.
I didn't do it when I was living alone. Now I'm
Yeah.
living with my girlfriend, Natalie. And I'm like, all right, I feel comfortable sitting down, watching like a block of shows, all the shows we're watching. And I can't believe how much I've missed it. I can't believe it. For years, I was like, I'll get to it someday. We're just starting Severance. And it's fucking awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
I'm watching Last of Us 2. We watched Daredevil Born Again. And kind of the big things I wanted to say, I am shocked by the quality of the studio with Seth Rogen on Apple TV.
Fantastic.
It's
Genuinely wonderful.
I can't. The idea of a comedy choreographing all the camera movements and doing all this special stuff. They did an episode because he's a studio head about someone trying to get one shot of a movie.
Yeah.
And they shot the whole episode as one shot where he keeps messing up all the takes.
Right.
The detective noir episode.
Oh, it's all wonderful.
It's incredible, and I'm just like excited to see it. And the other thing is, and because this is a weird guy, so I don't know how many people know about Nathan For You and all this stuff. Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal season 2 started, and it's a comedian legitimately trying to help the aviation industry avoid plane crashes.
Yeah.
That's what the show is about.
Right.
And it's like he just hijacked his own show and series to pull it in this direction.
I think it's cool because it's like, okay, where do you go after the first season of The Rehearsal?
Right.
It is a question, right? How do we go further with this thing? Do we just sort of continue with the same kind of stuff we've been doing? And I do think the fact that he must have just asked that question of himself and answered with, I guess we dig deeper and get more earnest with this, more like a genuine attempt at a thing, which does make it pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. How many people do you think know about like Nathan For You and The Rehearsal?
Oh,
I think quite a few.
I'd say at least 15.
I think there's a lot. I see a lot of discussion of it. My Twitter has been curated to a point where it's like a lot of movie and TV Twitter,
right?
And so there is a lot of conversation about it, which is nice. I would also say, did you see the first season of Andor? Because that's in the world right now.
I heard it's amazing.
It's really genuinely great.
They just finished the second and final season of Andor.
Yeah.
Oh,
today.
wow.
Yes.
Today. And so it dropped last night, the final 3 episodes. And so my wife and I have been watching it, and we haven't been able to watch those 3 episodes yet because they came out at 9 p.m. last night, 3 of them. And we have a child, so that's not a possibility.
Right.
So I have had to avoid all social media because I don't know if you knew this. 3 episodes of a thing can come out, and at 9 a.m. the next day, it's all spoiled.
It's
like everybody's
crazy.
just like, well, you should have watched it.
Yeah.
When?
It's crazy.
When?
It's insane.
It's gotten really bad.
I
like
know.
the just blather everything thing has gotten very, very bad.
It's insane to me.
And I can help you save some time on television because the other show that we're watching, my wife is like a huge fan of. I really enjoyed it for a long time, and then it fell off. Is *Handmaid's Tale*.
Margaret Atwood.
We've talked in the past about this thing. There should be a term, not mansplaining, but when a boyfriend or husband has some fun facts about what's
Yes.
going on in a movie or
Yes.
what happened around it. You know what I mean? Our pausings, if you will. Man pauses.
Oh my god.
Manopause. Yeah.
Mandible paw.
No,
Not mandible
what?
pause.
That's Mick Foley's finisher, the mandible claw.
Yeah.
Here, I'll do
Oh
it to
boy.
her.
Sometimes it does feel, you know what I mean? It does feel like you have a well-meaning, demented brother that kind of hangs out with us, and it's just a thing.
Well-meaning.
Yeah. Have you seen what he's done to those rabbits? No, but *Handmaid's Tale*, I have a different version of the Manopause, which is I genuinely want to finish the show. I've been with it this whole time. The writing of it, it's gone well past the books. It's a real Game of Thrones situation of like, they're like, I don't know. What if she did it again? And every episode is basically like, what if it all happens again for another episode? And it's bad. It's turned into a soap opera.
Yeah.
I'm very frustrated with it.
Yeah.
And I want to be like, why did they do this scene? This makes no sense. Why would this character do this? Like things like that. But then my wife Kalina gets mad at me and she's like, don't ruin it for me, right? So I want to be respectful of that. So what my experience has been, and the reason I'm talking about it now is because it happened last night. My experience is I said one thing at the beginning of the episode and she was like, don't ruin it for me. And I went, okay. And then I just had to sit there and just in my head be like, why'd that character do that? That makes no sense.
Yeah, you texted us about it.
I know, I did. I needed an outlet. Otherwise, it would stay in there, and that's how you get cancer. Right? So my wife wants me to get cancer.
I'm mostly cancer at this
Oh
point.
my god! But that it is a thing. So what do you call that? We've got Manopause.
Yes.
What do you call the? I don't want to ruin it for the other person, so I'm just going to keep my very realistic, real issues with the thing that are objectively happening.
Well, you're suppressing them. So maybe
Yes.
suppress could be part of it.
I'm being suppressed.
Yes.
Which is ironic because the show is about breaking free of that suppression. It's happening again.
Suppressed.
Wow.
Well, suppressed memories is a thing. So maybe
Now
it could
you're
be
just
something.
thinking about words that sound the same without the meaning.
Well, I was going to say, if we could come up with a word that's like memory, but it has to do with criticisms.
So like it's kind of happening again, like a repression.
Oh,
I'm being repressed.
okay.
Can I say that as a straight white man?
Probably not.
Huh.
Well, repressed memories are the thing.
Suppressed memories, not repressed. You can have memories of
No, it's-
repression.
I think it's repressed.
I think they're both.
Oh, okay.
I repressed memories is.
What about oppressed?
Ooh, those are bad memories.
Those are, yeah.
I'll say, so years and years and years ago, I went to see the movie Fever Pitch in theaters. I went with 5 women who were my friends.
And you were disappointed because you thought it was Fever Bitch?
Yes. And
She's so hot and sweaty.
I didn't enjoy the
My
film.
favorite superhero.
And
Sweating.
at one point, I let out a typical audible Brad sigh. That
Yeah.
something stupid had happened. And they were like, if you didn't want to come to the movie, you shouldn't have come to the movie. They were so
Oh my
mad
God.
at me.
This is what I'm saying. And didn't you want to stand up and go, that was bad.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to react to the bad.
Yeah.
So it's either suppression or repression, right? It's a repress.
I got an idea for the word.
Yeah.
We were talking about oppression a moment ago.
Yes.
Showpression.
Oh, okay.
Because then it's too close to oppression.
Yeah.
We'll think about it.
Guess
Or
how about this?
I'm being thoughtful.
What's a synonym for criticism? Do you have any?
Ooh, a slight.
slight?
A
Takedown?
No.
A Brad, you're a walking dictionary, man.
I got nothing.
Really?
No.
No synonym for criticism?
No.
I don't. I guess I don't really have it either.
Yeah, we'll have to think about it.
Yeah.
We'll come up with one. We'll
I
put it
know.
in the Funbearable encyclopedia.
Well, and you know who could probably give some help with that would be the great Funbearable listeners/viewers.
Yeah.
Hello.
Let's put it to them.
And welcome to another episode of Funbearable. I'm Brad Rohr.
I am Ray, keeping my comments to myself. Harrington.
And I'm Chuck. I'm getting them in a text message state. But yeah, no, we'll think of a word for that because there's
Yeah.
got to be a great term.
Yeah.
I think the other one's great, and so we'll come up with something.
Yeah,
for it.
it's man, I'm frustrated because I want the showrunners from Handmaid's Tale to have like a brunch with Damon Lindelof and the other person from Lost,
Yeah.
and Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Just have them all have a big round table discussion about how they just absolutely dropped the ball.
Yeah,
You know,
Get Ted Lasso season 3 in there.
please do.
Well, so what usually happens? Does the writer usually kind of stay on as a producer and help them guide, or no? What happened with Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones, Martin was like, he wasn't involved with any of that. He supposedly, allegedly had told them what the ending was going to be.
Yeah.
But anyone with any amount of experience in film, television, writing, books, things like that, anybody that understands story can obviously see that's not what the ending was for that thing.
Yeah, the pacing was really off.
The pacing was off, and then the ultimate, I think my biggest issue with Game of Thrones is if this was how it was going to end, fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. If that was the ultimate choice, then it's one of two problems. Either this was always going to be the end,
Yes.
and you did a horrible job of leading us there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you were doing a great job leading us to the ending that it was going to be, and then changed it at the end.
Yeah.
Just like Lost,
Yeah.
because people already knew.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big part of it. Let's subvert expectation. Just don't. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, this is a very clear through line.
I'll tell you a funny thing that's kind of related to this thing of suppressing. So Brad and I want to watch the whole Mission Impossible series. Largely, you love it. Rupert
Yeah.
loves it. Tons of people love it.
They're amazing. My son has watched all of them. He's going to go to the movie theater with my wife and I.
Oh, that's great.
To see the last one.
I love
I'm
that.
so excited.
I love that. So we watched one a while ago.
Yep.
Recently, we watched two.
Two is
the John Woo one. Yeah.
two is its own thing.
Yep.
Rupert said it's the low point of the series.
Here's the hard part. It is the low point of the Mission Impossible series.
Yes.
It is a high point of woo-ness. Does
Yes.
that make sense?
Sure. Yeah.
I also can never argue with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
He's not in that
He's-
one.
he's
Oh,
in-
is that
he's in
three?
three,
yeah.
That's three. I'm thinking of three.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
was interesting about this is we're watching it. First of all, a lot of gratuitous, over-the-shoulder cleavage shots on the woman who plays Mauve in Westworld.
Thandie Newton.
It was crazy. I was like, this is egregious. It was insane.
Different time.
I know. It was
You
crazy.
know what I mean? And it's a woo.
Yeah.
It's a woo.
So here's what I wanted to say, though. It was really funny. In the beginning of the movie, one of them does the face swap thing, the mask, where they have a different face.
Yeah.
Then a third of the way in the movie, someone else does a face swap thing,
Yeah.
right? 2/3 of the way through the movie, there's a third face swap thing. Mm-hmm. Then we're watching the conclusion of the movie, and one of the bad guys drags Tom Cruise into this room. Another bad guy shoots and kills Tom Cruise. And I go, there's a double face swap going on. And Brad is like, you fucking idiot. There's no way that they would do 3 of these beforehand and end with 2 on top of each other at the same time, as if it's a solid plot point that not everyone would see coming. Then the guy reaches to his face.
Yeah.
And he pulls off.
And then Brad goes, "Don't ruin this for me."
Yeah. And it was a double. We
I
laughed.
threw the remote through the TV.
We laughed for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We laughed so hard.
You know what that smacks of to me?
Yeah.
Is, it's been so long.
Yeah.
I always go Mission Impossible. I go Mission Impossible 1,
yeah.
Rogue Nation.
Yeah.
We're over here now. You know what I mean?
It's funny because it's so
Or Ghost Protocol, whichever one was first.
It's so bizarrely similar to the Fast and Furious series. How strange that probably
Yeah.
the 2 top series that are not Marvel, superhero, that kind of stuff, both of them have that same story.
Sure.
Where it's like we started with 1 and it did really well. Then it kind of dropped quality for 2 and 3, and then with 4 we reinvigorated, and now it's one of the biggest movies.
I
of all
actually
time.
think it makes total sense because both are roughly in a similar time,
think
period
so.
of time,
Yeah.
like era.
I think that Fast and Furious was 99 and Mission Impossible was 2000.
Right. So you get this idea of like these two movies come out, they are huge, and so they make the like of that time quick and cheap sequel, or
Yeah.
not even cheap, but just like a quick sequel, a cynical sequel. Here's the sequel.
Yep. Yeah.
And it like with this, the Mission Impossible, like all of the mask reveals, everyone loved the mask reveal in the first movie.
Yep.
So it's like that idea of like they liked it, fucking 10 of them.
Pile it on.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And so but then you get past the cynical, cheap, easy sequels to a place where it's like, okay, now we can go into franchise territory.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they would have done
Right.
if we weren't in this era
Right.
of, you can structure a franchise.
Right.
Not just have 8 sequels,
Yes.
but have a larger thing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. I'm happy to jump into it.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah, and genuinely, Finn, my son, loves the Mission Impossible
Yeah.
franchise because we were in that era of like, or territory of like, I want to show him an action thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he's too young to get too actiony.
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I'm like, no, this is it. And I said to Kalina, I was like, I think I'm going to show him Mission Impossible 1.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, I think it's going to be appropriate. I looked it up.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's totally fine. And she's like, are you sure? And I went, it's Tom Cruise. He produced it.
Yep.
There's no way in hell he would leave anything off, like on the table in terms of like what audience can come to this.
Right.
Yeah.
He knew he was making this for family.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
it's also
not a family film, but you
Right.
know what I mean.
It's like a spy movie that's PG-13.
Right.
And spy movies in general don't have gore. I mean, even the sex stuff is pretty muted in terms of graphic stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure, but I think there's a level you can get with the level of violence in something.
Sure, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
how much blood do you see?
Yeah.
You know, what territory, what kind of language is used,
Yeah.
and things like that. You
Yeah,
know, or
that's true.
in the world of the modern James Bond movies, how boring can it be?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was just looking for a quantum of solace. Just a
That
quantum.
movie is so bad, and then I found out why.
Yeah.
The writer's strike.
Yes.
And they had no script and just kept shooting.
Yeah.
And that's why that movie is not good.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Can we just put it out there? I think the Funbearable stance. I think I
didn't
could
watch
speak
it.
for the modern James Bond movies.
I loved Casino Royale.
Sure.
And I saw the second one in theaters and didn't like it. And
Yeah.
then I just kind of fell off.
Yeah.
But my statement is this. I'm not even going to say like all of them are bad or anything like that. When it comes to these spy movies, I firmly believe this. I think Tom Cruise outdid the James Bond franchise.
Wow.
I think Mission Impossible is the go-to chunk of movies about spies and doing spy stuff and all the things.
It's tough. I don't have a great knowledge of the Bond movies, really.
Yeah, I think Ethan Hunt is a more fun and dynamic spy than James Bond.
I mean,
and
you
I'm
know,
sure the
you say that-
55-year-old men are going to be so fucking mad at me right now.
I'm an Agent Cody Banks guy.
You do love a Banks. You do love a Banks.
All right. So it's so funny. We were talking about TV.
Yeah.
My buddy, I was recently hired by Impractical Jokers, and this kind of came at the end of this funny sequence of events of my buddy Brian Quinn, who's one of the Jokers, kind of being like, I want Chuck to come like work with me. It was happened a couple of years ago on Tell 'em Steve Dave. And I'm leading up to this thing because we finally kind of started moving forward with some projects. And it led to this great event recently that I wanted to talk about. I know Ray has an event to talk about that was really fun too.
Yeah, I mean, it happened.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I think it's really fun. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But we had this, Q and I have been working on doing a new podcast for Audio Boom.
Yeah.
I asked him a while ago if he would do a podcast, and he said yes. And so we've been kicking around ideas for a long time. I'm hoping someday we get to tell the story of the whole LA thing that happened.
Yeah.
That was a real interesting time.
Yeah, you guys were shooting fireworks off in dry woods.
That's
you said?
correct. That's
This
correct.
was like a few, like maybe 6 months ago, something like that.
Yeah. You know what's funny? the day we were supposed to start shooting that mystery project was the day that the fire started.
Wow.
So if it had gone through, what the hell?
Chuck would be on fire right now.
Yeah.
Think of the budget on that thing.
Right.
And everything falling through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, the audio boom thing has kind of been kicked around, put in the background. And the name of the show is 5 Stupid Questions. And so Quinn texted me one day a couple months ago, and he's like, hey, first weekend in April, we're going to Key West. And he didn't give me any context, and I was like, okay. And I just blocked it off in my calendar. I didn't know what the deal was going on. And finally, coming up to it, he's like, I'm doing a new comedy festival. I'm starting a comedy festival this year. It's called Q West, and we're going to do it the first weekend of April.
Oh my God! How many people showed up at this thing wearing MAGA
Stop
hats?
the steal!
Yeah, and they showed up and they're like, "Wait, it's funny? It's funny?"
So I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I want you to come film it, whatever. And I was like, all right, great. And Quinn and Brian Johnson do like an offshoot podcast of Tell 'em Steve Dave called Space Monkeys. And they had me on one on the Impractical Jokers cruise. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll be on that in Q West. They're going to do that live too.
Which I'm really butting heads with them.
Yep.
Because I've gotten a cease and desist letter
Yeah.
from Brian, which
Yeah.
is weird because he was on our show.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could have just handed it to me. Because I do Spice Monkeys.
Oh, I
And
thought
that's
it was.
a whole thing. It's a Dune fan podcast.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
I got a cease and desist letter from Ray for my Monkey Spice podcast.
And I got one from.
Which I think is a very racist thing to say about a pop star from a big group of people.
It's about ground up monkeys, Ray.
I got a cease and desist from Brad.
Oh, good.
I'm working on a pilot.
Yeah.
Sci-fi. Space monks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I sent you that cease and desist. Because I'm working on a legacy sequel
Okay.
show, like a reunion show, that is in the near future. Some would say near, some would say far.
Right.
Which is taking a quirky detective and finding out what happens when he becomes a part of the intergalactic empire, Space Monk.
Yep.
It's so interesting because I have another show I've been working on.
Yeah. Oh, well, you haven't sent me a letter yet.
It's another revival.
Oh.
And it's very similar. Takes place in the future when travel to other galaxies is normal. Alvin and the Space Monks. And I'm finding some similarities here with this title.
Yeah. Do they solve crimes, but like in a lighthearted way?
They do a lot of singing and solving. And they kind of tailor their singing to the crimes. They'll do parody songs.
Yeah.
But it'll be like, this murder. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, you know?
Oh. No, that's
All right,
fine. Yeah.
I mean-
I'm a little upset.
Why is that?
The singing.
Yeah.
That's really going to rub up against
Yeah.
another project that I'm working on.
Oh, what's that?
You guys have been wondering, why have I been so distant?
Yes. We have.
I'm really painting myself into a corner
You
here.
sure
I gotta
are.
come up with something with music.
Weird Al does parodies.
So there was a lot of parody in mine as well. And it was mine is I saw the biopic that came out recently from who's the UK pop guy?
Robbie Williams.
Robbie Williams
Yep.
and his biopic, which I think is I wish Robbie Williams was more of a thing in America because I love the wild swing of what that movie is.
Yeah.
Insane.
I've seen some of the songs, like just clips of the songs and what they did with it. Because they, if you don't know, they made a biopic of Robbie Williams, but he is a CG monkey for the whole movie.
Yes.
It's a metaphor, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I joked with Finn. I showed him one of the videos, and for Rock DJ,
Yeah.
right, and I was like, it's Caesar. Right?
Yeah.
I was joking. Where I'm like,
Exactly.
it's Caesar.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, but I think it's so great. I love that swing. It's so wild. But anyway, so I was working on that concept because I was really inspired by that, and this is a biopic of why can't I think of their names? And I'm turning into Jeff Goldblum slowly. You know, the hair rockers with all the makeup from back in the day.
Kiss.
They're huge. Kiss.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I blanked on Kiss. It's called Ace Monkey. It's just that's all it is. That's the whole thing. Everything tried to get to that. It's called Ace Monkey.
I love that you can remember Ace Frehley and not Kiss.
That's because I was so in my head about where do I want to go that I forget things.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what my wife's name is. I don't remember anymore.
Ace Frehley?
Yeah. Is it IP Frehley?
Yeah.
Is that something?
Maybe.
What about you?
I got one more cease and desist letter.
Oh, no.
And Ray handed it to me, but I don't think it's from Ray. It's not signed. It just says, you know who this is from.
Oh.
And it's for my project.
So
also,
hold on, you were serving him? Like
Yeah.
that's part of your job?
Yeah.
also,
I want to see the look on their face.
yes. It's science fiction film.
Yeah.
It's called Star Wars.
All right.
It's about wars between the stars.
Yeah.
So like, what else?
Wow. You've really you've cut the thread.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
we
for
can't
sure.
go any
I
further.
wanted to get back to Q West.
No, that is fair because I was all excited that because I had another one. And it's totally fine. I
is
don't
it?
even want. No, I don't want to do it. I'm fine.
Because I got to cease and
Fine.
desist.
It was about. Oh, you did?
Well, it was for you.
Oh, okay.
So tell me about the project.
It was actually about you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I got it.
Yeah, I was working on a documentary series that I was going to do. You know how like they have like My Strange Addiction,
Yeah.
my weird little thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was a show that nobody watched.
Yeah.
My weird little thing. And you have to say it that way.
I tuned in.
Welcome back to another episode of My Weird Little Thing.
I starred in it.
Very
Oh, yeah.
confrontational.
Yeah, very confrontational. But it was about you going to various restaurants, eateries, carts, things like that. Eating the food and being so exuberant about it. Running up to people, grabbing them by the collar, right?
I'm the
Do
Jimmy-
you love this?
I'm the Jimmy Fallon of street food.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. A lot of people say you're the Jimmy Fallon of.
Yeah.
And then just so many things.
Well, there's a line, and you get to put in whatever you want.
That's fair. It was called Taste Junkie. And that was the whole thing.
I was trying to figure out a way that it was about Chuck, and it was John Wayne Gacy Monkey.
Oh.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So Key West.
Yes.
We really love to just we're a mortar and pestle, and we just fucking grind a bit
Grind
into
the
a
life out
dust.
of
You want to know what a really good metaphor for the podcast is?
Yeah.
The cartoons of Family Circus where the kid has to go home.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah.
really? That's really good. That's a good representation. So he's like, we're gonna do this thing Key West. He's like, I want you to come. He's like, we'll figure out the filming. And I was like, okay. And me and Quinn have lunch like pretty often, and we talk about the upcoming projects and stuff. He's the one who got me hired on Impractical Jokers, and obviously Casey Jost has been part of that for years and stuff like that. There's a lot of great people on the crew that have been really awesome to me over the years and kind of pulled me into the family. But he was eventually like, he's like, I want you to film Key West. And I was like, okay. And I go, are you looking for documentary stuff? Are you looking for promo stuff? He's like, I'm just looking for promo stuff. And he told me ahead of time, he's like, I just want you to film like an establisher of each event and then just some fun moments. And it was a lot of stuff. It was because he was doing the first one. I think they were trying to model it after the Impractical Jokers cruise, where there's events from like 10 a.m. till midnight.
Ugh.
So
That's too much.
Yeah.
Even for me, like, even if it was something where I'm like, I love this thing,
Yeah.
showing up and being like, it's all day.
Well, the thing
I'll
is,
say I can't do events from 10 to 12 noon.
I was gonna say
Too much.
All the stuff is kind of like there's a comedy club there,
Yeah.
and the events probably go from like 7 to 10, or maybe like
7 a.m.?
7 p.m.
Okay.
to maybe 11 p.m. There'll be like 3 shows a night.
Yeah.
You kind of do get to choose what you want to go
Sure,
to.
sure.
Like the first day, there's a Tell 'em Steve Dave meetup. There's this thing. There's
Breakfast
karaoke.
with Mickey.
Yep.
Yeah, breakfast.
Right?
With, Quinny. And
Quinny the Pooh.
and by the way, it was me in a Quinn mascot costume.
Oh, and it was Quinny the Pooh because you only had a shirt on, right?
Yes.
Quinny the Pooh is amazing.
Well, let's talk to Quinn and we'll get him as Quinny the Pooh.
I would love to get him in a halter top that's red and just
Yeah.
blur, blur, blur.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
would
yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Or just blur.
So it's funny because I have no experience with Key West. Do either of you have any experience with it?
No.
No.
Or any of the keys?
Just what I've read in Stephen King books.
So-
Alicia?
Yes. Yeah, I like that key.
No
I have
one.
some-
What a great song.
I
Good
have
key.
some, experience with Alicia. Yeah.
Girl on Fire. So
No, you're thinking of Man on Fire, the film. Denzel.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Denzel.
Did you get any cease and desist about that?
Can we just start a thing now, because it is such a thing for, I think, a lot of women. They're like, oh, Denzel, right? And maybe it's from a different era. Maybe it's from like the 90s or something. But I think it would be fun if we should have on Funbearable, we should adopt some actor where we're just like,
someone weird.
You know what I mean? But like, you know how it's like, ooh, Denzel, oh my God, you know, I wouldn't kick him out of bed, right? Like that kind of thing. We should have one. Is it Brad Dourif?
That would be nice. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Jaleel White is good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But oh wait, no, we already have one. I think it's George Lucas.
Oh my God.
Get out from behind the camera. Get in front. Oh, you like my moves? You like the way I sort of breathe heavy?
I want to give him some sounds, not words.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The idea of George Lucas just being like seducing someone is so funny to me.
He's wearing like nice silk boxers and a robe.
I just picture him in mom jeans.
Oh.
And a flannel
tucked in.
typical
Classic
Lucas
action figure.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I just picture him being like, "You like what you see?" You know what I mean? Oh yeah.
He starts unbuttoning his shirt from the bottom.
When I get to the top one, I make a Mexican accent. Right? Like, no, George, don't do it.
So I'm a gringo. So
Porch gringo.
So
He's a smuggler.
Yeah.
Duplicitous.
So he told me. So he's like, yeah, do that. I'm like, okay. I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
sure.
The more you work, I think, in kind of like the industry of this kind of stuff, you realize how little information everyone has about the thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
It's really like crazy. So I didn't realize like the Keys, the Key West, there's basically one gigantic street that has like everything on it, all the bars, all the club, everything, all the restaurants. And then there's just like houses around it. I had to go to probably, I'd say at least 10 to 12 different locations. Every single one was 6 minutes or less walking.
Yeah.
Which was really, really interesting. I've never really been to like that densely of a populated area.
Did you have to go to all the houses to tell them that you were like staying in the neighborhood?
Yeah, well, I looked around for the school.
Yeah.
I found my hotel.
On the other
down
side.
the street. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so it was really fun because we could go anywhere. It was funny because Get Him, Steve Dave, as he's been on the show a couple times from Tell Him Steve Dave, he wanted to go. He never goes. It's kind of a historic thing that Q will invite him to like these events and he just never goes. And I went to him and I was like, I want you to go. And he had said he would go, but a lot of times last minute, he's like, I got a lot of this. He comes up with some excuse. And I was like, here's my flights. Buy the same flights, and I will drive you from Hazlitt, New Jersey, to LaGuardia, and we'll go together. And we did, and it was great.
Hello, friends. Just taking a quick break from the episode to say thanks to our sponsor, Narragansett Beer. They have tasked us with helping them expand their product line. Now, we know that Narragansett does. They do beers, they do shandies, they do seasonal drinks, they do special drinks.
Yeah.
But they said, we want to do things that are not just beer. And I said, well, we got Chuck Staten here.
Yeah.
How about Harrigansett and its hairspray?
Oh!
Yeah.
Wow, and for Brad's head, Bearagansett.
Yeah, like the Chicago Bears, right? Is that what you
That's
mean?
what I mean. You're always thinking about him.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with turtle wax?
Ray, do you have any products that would work with Narragansett
Let's
beer?
see. What stuff goes on big penises?
I have no idea.
Oh, dishonesty again.
Yeah. Wait. No, you could do Scaragansett.
Ooh, Halloween brew. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. But yeah, so check out Narragansett Beer. It's at Gansett Beer on socials. We love them. We appreciate them being a sponsor of the podcast. Check out their amazing brewery in Providence, Rhode Island, if you're in the New England area. They helped me throw a party recently there. I know a bunch of people that have gone there since the ad started, and they all have reached out and been like, that place is amazing. Great place to hang out. But check out their beer. And as always, if you're a local supplier, the bar, the alcohol store, liquor store, if they don't have it, request it, man.
Yeah.
Tell them that's what we want. Say they sponsor Funbearable, and we need them here.
And you can also find out where Narragansett is available by going to our...
Narragansett.
Well, that was going to be
Was it?
the website.
Oh, I'm
that I was
sorry.
about to say.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Now you're going to do a new one.
Jeez, this guy, he just...
Yeah.
Okay, so it's called...
So, Brad, you're Narragansett.
Yep.
You didn't use any Narragansett, did you? Wait, Narragansett's the thing.
No! I got nothing. It was going to be whereagansett.com.
That's
Damn.
good.
That's all right. It's fine. All right, that's also part of my Scareagansett line. It's the Halloween line. Wereagansett, W-E-R-E.
Oh, that's good.
Like a werewolf.
Can I give a real pitch just in the ad? We're not going to cut this. Craig, keep it in. It's okay.
We have a real problem doing a whole podcast within the ad.
Yes.
If Narragansett Beer stays our sponsor,
Yeah. Once they hear these, probably not.
we should do a Scareagansett something for October.
Hell yeah.
That would be awesome.
How much do you think it would cost to rent a flatbed truck, fill it with hay, and have the three of us do a live podcast hayride?
Like Limp Bizkit style?
I know you're joking.
I'm not. I'm joking, but also in my heart, no, I want that.
We should try to figure this out.
We always do a porch episode for Halloween. What if that porch was on the move?
That would be so fucking funny.
That's my elevator pitch to Kevin Feige. I've been saying it for a long time when I try and pitch him ideas for Funbearable. Right? What if that porch
He's in charge.
was on the move?
He's got a real stranglehold on the direction of the show.
Oh yeah. So we'll talk to Narragansett. We'll try and get, maybe they could just give us one of their trucks. Are
Something.
they ever flatbeds? No, they're probably covered.
I bet we could find a hayride and we could talk to them.
But let's all agree now that if this happens, Cam, the Narragansett rep who has been on our podcast, fan of the podcast, friend of the show, he is not driving the flatbed.
No.
For his own safety.
He's following on a scooter.
Yes.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's go fast.
Also, I love the
And
idea that
then
we talked to a farmer with like a tractor. We're like, you know how these usually last like 6 minutes?
Yeah.
How about that times like 35? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Can you just keep it going?
Well, I think 6 times 10 would be an hour, which is usually what a podcast episode
usually,
is.
That's correct,
Hey, this
sir.
is Funbearable. This is a Funbearable podcast.
Oh,
though.
I've heard about your show. Also, I'm a southern farmer in Rhode Island. I moved recently.
the Scareagansett Funbearable Halloween special.
Scare.
All right. Now back to the episode.
Yeah. So we stayed in this huge house with Ming and I think Rachel Feinstein and all that stuff, and it was a great time, but it was fucking packed in terms of like what we had to do. And Q had to be at everything.
Yeah.
Joe DeRosa was
His name
there.
is on the thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Joe DeRosa is a good guy. I know him through Tuesdays mostly. He was there all weekend. He helped out a lot. Jiggy, who was on the Chuck and Brad podcast,
Yes.
a comedian that opens for the Jokers a lot, he helped Q plan the whole thing. So he was there the whole time too. But what was interesting is like right before we were going, we had a meeting with Audio Boom. And so we were about to have the meeting and Quinn calls me right beforehand. He's like, hey, I just want you to know, and we're supposed to film the first episode of this 5 Stupid Questions in like months, like 2 months basically. He goes, we're going to open the festival with the new show. And I was like, really? I'm like, we don't even know really what the format is exactly. We haven't done one. He's like, yeah, we'll find it. And he goes, and I'm thinking maybe it'd be a cool thing for us to open every year with it if we continue to do the festival. And I was like, okay, which felt like a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So it was like a much different experience than I expected. I've been to comedy festivals and I know what they're like. This was crazy because it did start at 10 a.m. with these gigantic meetups.
Yeah.
And one thing I didn't realize was that it was like 100% Tell 'em Steve Dave listeners, which I've worked on for 9 years now. So I know so many of these people. I host 2 shows on the Patreon. And it was just nonstop these people together. And Jiggy and Q did not communicate about what my role was. So instead of being like, yeah, film the exterior of a thing and get a bunch of shots, Jiggy was like, film everything, do this right now, do this right now. He's a wicked good guy.
Yep.
He's a good like business guy in comedy. He comes up with a lot of stuff. He does his own other festival in Florida every year that's very successful. He's doing his 5th year right now.
He's the CEO of Jiggy Inc.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. But he's really great, and he's really good at marketing and all this stuff. But he was like, this. And the first day, I filmed from 10 a.m. till midnight, which is 14 hours. My only breaks were I took 45 minutes to go back to my room and shower.
To masturbate, yeah.
Yes. And I had to stop filming to go
masturbate.
on stage for an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, to masturbate?
To masturbate.
Yes. So the
Wow.
only break I had was 45 minutes to shower and an hour to be on stage the entire time.
Yeah.
And it was fucking insane. The second
Yeah.
day, luckily, wasn't as bad, but it was a great time. And we did 5 stupid questions. And it was really cool because Quinn's like, let's go out. We'll joke around. We'll talk about how this came about. We'll have some fun with it. And we did that. And then I went backstage and he's like, I'm going to bring out Joey Fatone. I'm going to bring out DeRosa, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, this is the first podcast. We really don't know what we're doing. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'll say this here. I was like, I want to feel like I'm involved in this thing. I want to make sure that if it does make sense for me to be involved in the way that I really want, which we're still figuring out, I'm like, I got to make a bold move. And I really was nervous about doing this because it's a room with 200 people. It's sold out. We have no idea what we're doing. They're there for Quinn. I was like, after I went backstage, I'm like, I'm going to come back on stage with sunglasses and a chair, and I'm going to join the podcast and say, I'm the producer. I need to be here. That's the thing.
Oh, I thought you were going to do like a
Like
Ray
a Blues
Charles.
Brother thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of rocking.
Weaving
A lot
back
of
and
rocking.
forth.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm talking to
You're on the
get him.
soundboard.
I was
You're
gonna say-
mixing.
Yeah.
You're like,
I was going to say to get him, play this piano solo as soon as I go out, as soon as I start. So I was like, if an opportunity comes up, I'm going to try to do this. I'm not going to just force myself. I want to see. Jiggy went on stage to fix like a light thing or a cable thing. And Q looked back. He goes, oh, I thought Chuck was coming back for a second. And I was like, okay, this is clearly like, this is the moment for me to actually come out. And I did it. I took this thing on stage. I was wearing sunglasses. Q's like, why are you wearing sunglasses? And I'm like, I'm the producer. And it went really well. And we had a great time.
yeah.
And it was awesome.
yeah.
Went back to filming, and the whole weekend was like shockingly fun in a way that really exceeds what a comedy festival is, I think.
Yeah.
Like we had a whole afternoon at this pool bar. We had, Ming did karaoke at Margaritaville at like 2 p.m. Way before the shows started. It was a lot of podcasts. Steve Byrne did stand up. DeRosa did stand up. He's awesome. Rachel Feinstein did stand up. She's awesome. And we did a ghost tour after the shows where all the comics went on different buses and interacted with the ghost tour people
Yeah.
the entire time.
Yeah.
And they ended this thing called the Shipwreck Museum where like they usually do a little show where the ghosts come out and they just all did it. Q, Fatone, everybody just did it. Joe Imbergio, one of the writers from Jokers, they all came up with their stuff and they did it. So they really like took over Key West
Yeah.
for like I would say a 60-hour period because it was 2 days and then 2 complete days and then half of Sunday. And it was like shockingly, like, what's the word I'm looking at? When you're completely surrounded in something. When
Overwhelmed?
Well, it's more like,
Enveloping?
it's like when you're in a virtual
Swaddled?
reality world.
Immersion?
Yeah, you're so immersed in this world.
Yeah.
For like every second of this time.
Yeah.
And I literally couldn't walk out of the house that we were in without running into people and being like, hey, we're doing this. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, we're doing this. And it was like the time of my life.
Yeah.
It was so cool. Not
I think
singing.
when you're there, like when you're in a place like that,
Yeah.
where it is a little smaller, it's more about like just being there. Generally, even if this wasn't happening, it's about being there and doing these things and just enjoying yourself. It does lend itself to creating like a little town of people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like I did the Akumal Comedy Festival in Akumal, Mexico for stand-up records, right?
Yeah.
And Dan, the guy that runs it, Dan Schlissel, he asked me to do it, flew me out. We stayed at the at the house that the Grateful Dead built. And
Oh, yeah. Yes.
yeah. But I've already talked about this. But my point is like in that area, like this dirt road with these nice houses, like the only people you're seeing and communicating with are all those people, and everybody's like, we're gonna go do this, and then we're gonna go to the show, and then this is happening. It's really fun. It feels
crazy.
like like all of the fun of a college campus with no classes.
Yeah.
This is what I was gonna say. Is like you kind of have that community when you're young through. You have grade school, which probably feels a little bit more awkward. Then you have high school that's more like that because it completely takes over your time. Then you have college where you live there.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's so fun.
Then the labor camps.
Yes.
The labor camps.
Yes. Oh my God, I missed.
We're gonna go see the show.
The deportation buses.
The chain gang.
Yeah.
I miss those guys. What are those guys up to? Yeah, every once in a while I want to reach back out to the chain gang and just see what they're doing.
You know what?
Yeah, probably a bad idea. You're living under an assumed name now. You don't.
I know. It's so hard when you're on the land.
Yeah.
I feel like if we were in a chain gang, we'd be like the funnest ones.
If
I feel
we
like
were in a chain gang,
there'd be 3 corpses
I was going to say it's
with
the two of
pickaxes
you
in the heads.
doing the digging and singing with a severed foot next to you.
It was a
Me,
real
like army crawling down the dirt road going, where's that?
real saw situation.
Oh, it's a real saw situation. And it's also a sausage.
saw situation.
Sausage.
How many hard-boiled eggs are you going to eat?
As many as
Cool-
possible.
Cool Hand Luke.
Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great, and the final night we did a very late Space Monkeys, and I was on it, and it was 100% people from Tell 'em Steve Dave. There was 8 of us on stage, and it really felt like a surprise to essentially have a Tell 'em Steve Dave listener weekend. I can't imagine.
Man, who was at Key West having a nice vacation, and then they just see so many black T-shirts just coming through.
It's Mr. Wilson.
Yeah,
from
and
Dennis
it's like,
Menace.
oh my God, is there a Juggalo thing happening here?
I will say the creatures of Key West, I think, were stranger than the people that we brought down.
That's fair. That is fair. Yeah,
It's insane. It was.
brown leather skin. yeah.
I'm like, come on, sit down, take off your jacket.
Yeah,
Your jacket.
what jacket? Huh? The rhino skin jacket that you're
Yes,
wearing.
Yeah. I can't say I have the pull for this. I would be so thrilled if we did a live Funbearable at the next Q West. If they do another one.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It would be so much fucking fun. I would love for you guys to be down there. But it was just incredible, and I had such a great time. So many people reached out to me afterwards. I think because it was the first year, no one knew what to expect.
Sure, yeah.
So some people were like, I don't know about this, because, there's a cost to it.
Yeah.
You know? But then I think when everyone saw all the pictures and all the stuff that happened, the videos.
There was that oath you had to take. That was weird.
That was fun. I liked it. I like a blood oath. I think they were just like,
Oh no, it was just an oath.
It was just an oath. You didn't have to bleed.
Yeah.
I cut myself.
Oh.
I was wondering what they're going to do. I'm waiting for the blood part.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just texted everybody.
Yeah.
Nothing, no answers.
No, that's because it
It wasn't
you just do the
necessary.
oath.
Yeah.
I
you
have to
just
keep
sign-
cutting this to stay open.
No, you just
No,
si-
you
you
just
just
let it-
you just sign the paper.
Yeah. You say the thing and then you sign it.
Annoying. Well, anyway, no, it was just a shockingly fun time.
Yeah, that's so much fun,
And
yeah.
it was so cool, and I hope they do it again.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just very surprising. I'd love to get you guys involved.
Oh yeah, I
hope
worry
it
if we
happens.
go though. I worry if we go. Inevitably, we all know what will happen.
Yeah.
Brad will die from sun.
Yes.
Then,
It's just sun,
Yeah.
not
Just sun.
the sun.
then a voodoo lady's gonna do a thing, and suddenly we see Brad kind of shamble dancing down the beach.
That's
right?
the only way I know how to dance.
A shamble dance.
I would love a weekend at Bradley's.
The only way we can get him to do the podcast is if somebody's playing steel drum the whole time.
By the
Yeah.
way, Get 'em came every night. Everyone got very, very drunk and inebriated. Get 'em came back to our house. He's very hobbled, as you may know. He walks in a funny way. He tripped, and he has like 4 phones, but one of his more important phones went into the pool. And so he was on the ground, and he was screaming for me and Ming at like 3 a.m. I didn't hear it. Ming apparently did hear it and decided not to go out.
Yeah.
That's very fun.
And so Get 'em not being able to find help.
Oh, so I guess you could say he was Ming the Merciless.
Get 'em was not able to find help. So he stripped down to his tighty whities and rolled into the pool.
Jesus Christ. That's
That does not make going to
why you
Q
need-
West next year more appealing.
No, that's why you need fences, okay? That's why people have fences around their pools.
Yeah, but he got the phone.
Yeah.
He's okay. He's back.
Man, I'm jealous because you went on this adventure right around the same time I was going on a different adventure.
Yeah.
And you went to Key West.
I was in a fan boat, and I was in a boat with everybody. We saw dolphins jumping next to us legitimately.
Yeah.
It was magical.
Yeah, you did these fun things with fun people.
Yeah.
And that's really wonderful.
Yeah.
I went to... Oh my God, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Oh, put up some music. Craig, play some real fucking marimba here. Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. No, I flew to Columbus because Don't Tell Comedy, which is a company now nationwide. They're in other countries now.
Oh, yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. It is a
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of...
Doug just did one in England.
Yeah, only that was top secret. That's a different thing.
Oh, sorry.
But no, that's all right. Don't let them hear that.
I know.
But the two guys that started the company, I know them, Kyle and Jeremy. They're great. I started doing like Boston Don't Tells, met the guys, and now it's across the country. And it's a pop-up comedy show.
Yeah.
Where people can buy tickets to it and they don't know where the show is going to be or who's going to be on the show.
Okay.
And then you find out that day.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you go to this place. And it's been fun. I've done so many different places
Right.
Yeah.
with them. And I love a Don't Tell crowd.
Yeah.
My working theory is it is people who, by design, the concept of the show, you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're doing. It requires a hurdle for people.
It weeds out the casuals.
Yes, where it's just, these are people interested enough in stand-up comedy that will go and do this thing because it sounds fun.
Exactly.
Great. It's not going to be somebody going, well, what are you going to do? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there sometimes, but
Yeah.
whatever. I think I've had maybe one or two shows where I'm like, this was work.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I get to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So they've been filming and releasing a lot of sets recently. Like they've been really growing as a company. It's really cool. So Kyle has reached out to me a few times to ask me to do like film a set with
Yeah.
them, right?
Yeah.
Professional setup. It's like, a special taping, right?
Yeah.
But they'll do like shorter sets for people, which is really fun. Their YouTube is fantastic. Check out Don't Tell Comedy. It's exploding. It's very cool.
Yeah. Tons of great comics that put out
Yeah.
stuff. On that channel.
Yeah, really good, and a lot of friends, and it's a cool thing. So unfortunately, I've been booked whenever it's like,
Filming?
they did one in Boston,
Yeah.
they did one in New York, stuff like that, and I'm like, I can't. I'm booked. I got to do this thing.
I remember you were going on a cruise for one of them, right?
Yeah, one of them was that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this one came up, and I was like, I've been thinking about it more lately. Like, I want to do one of these and put this out there. I have this thing I think would be perfect for it.
Yeah.
And then I have another thing that I'm ready to like put to bed, right? And so he reached out and asked me to do Columbus. I've never been to Columbus. I've never been to Ohio. So I was like, this will be fun. I have no idea what this audience is.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And so the week before I left, my son got really sick.
Oh, that's right.
And he only was sick for like 2 days.
Yep.
And
Well, he's young and resilient.
yeah, exactly. And I looked at him when he was sick, and I was just like, I hope you feel better. And I was being a good dad and all the things. But in my head, I'm like, you're gonna give this to me. I already have it. It's just a matter of time. And sure enough, like I think we recorded episodes.
Yeah.
And I felt it coming. And then the
Yes.
next day, Monday, I was just like, oh, I'm dying.
Yep.
Right? And it just kept getting worse. And so I went and did this, and all I was worried about was like, I just want to be able to like sound human.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I fly to Columbus, and I didn't know at the time. I found out when I went to the doctors when I got back. Double ear infection, chest infection. Like I'm just living it.
That's 100% of your ears were infected.
Yeah.
Damn.
Flying.
Yeah.
Wow.
I looked like someone who was in a long distance telepathic fight with Professor X.
Wow.
On the flights.
Okay.
On the
Very
flight.
specific imagery. That
it
is
paints a-
super clear. Yeah.
It paints a perfect picture, almost like I'm a stand-up comedian, right? Because it was the descent. Whenever we landed, thankfully they were direct flights.
Yep.
Otherwise, I would have just been like, I live here now.
Yeah.
I just Kalina, Finn, move out here.
Yep.
This is where we live now. Because like when we were landing, the pressure was just building and building. My ear wouldn't pop, and so it looked like one of those like migraine stock photos where I'm just like, and I'm having a telepathic fight with somebody.
Yep.
Every time I see one of those migraine photos, all I think of is, oh, that person's fighting Professor X.
Yeah.
And losing. Yeah.
And losing badly. And that's what I was doing. And then like,
You needed Magneto's helmet, then you're fine.
oh my God, the flight out, it built and built and built, and then finally it released, and it was like, I swear you could have heard like putting your thumbnail into a bike tire thing where it goes like that. It felt like that's what was happening. The flight back, it didn't do that. It just hurt the entire time while I was landing, and then once we were taxiing, it would do it in spurts. It would go like and every time felt like somebody was shoving an ice pick in my ear. It was terrible. Anyway, so I go to Qolumbus. I'm like only focused on the show. I just got to do this show. Just be human for 10 minutes. I go to the place. It's an art studio, and it's cool. It's just one big, huge, open art studio. All this cool stuff on the wall. I show up. There are like 20 crew members on this shoot. It is so professional. I loved it, right? There's like 8 angles they're getting. There's a video village in the back. Like, they know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
And it shows. If you go to Don't Tell Comedies like YouTube, you can see like these are professionally done, and it was really exciting. I meet with Kyle. That's when I found out who else was on this show. They were doing 3 shows, I think, or 3. Yeah, 3 shows that weekend.
Yeah.
And there were some fantastic comics on the show. And then Kyle was like, would you like to close this show?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, all right, great. And it secretly it felt nice knowing like a little bit of the hitting 10 pressure was off.
Oh, nice.
Where I was like, okay, if I go a little over.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
you're not fucking anybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I think I hit like 10 and a half.
Yeah.
So that's great. I had all the medicines in me. I was half kind of there. And I just knew I got to hit this fucking set, right?
Yeah.
The only downside was there was no air conditioning in the space.
Yeah.
And it was it was like the first like kind of hot day
Yep.
Yeah.
in Columbus.
Love it.
No AC, and there's like 150 people packed in here, plus crew, plus cameras, plus lights, and I'm the last one going up.
Yep.
And so when this comes out, which I think will be later this summer, when this comes out, I just start pouring sweat.
Yeah.
So that's going to be real fun to watch me melt. But the scent went great. It was so
awesome.
good, and like the bit that I was doing, one of the bits that I did originated here. It was the cake bit.
Yep.
Yes.
And I was like, this is perfect for a Don't Tell audience.
Yep.
And I did the bit, and it was so good. Like, man, every once in a while, you do one of these shows, and it's just like, the response in the room makes me, in my head, go like, am I dying? Am I dying and I'm the only one that doesn't know?
Yep.
Is this a Make-A-Wish? Like, every fucking pop is so big. You know what I mean?
That's
It's
awesome.
So it worked out really, really well. I was very happy. There was a guy who was applauding the the end of the cake bit, which is cake is gay and like that. It was a fun thing. It takes this premise of like homophobia and like flips it, and it's a good time. And it was like the set went so well that I went to talk to this guy after that, like, oh, I'll end with this thing. And like the applause break was too big. I know that sounds crazy, and I apologize for sounding insane, but I was just like, oh, I have to leave. So I was just like, oh, bye, and I left. It was really fun. I think I'm saying all of that not as like a proud comedian, but more like, oh my God, I pulled myself together for 10 whole minutes.
Yeah.
Because I got off stage and I was like, was that good?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then everybody was talking, and it was really nice. And it was really fun. It was a very fun time. I loved Qolumbus. I thought it was really fun. The crowds were great. And your friend and his lady came to the show.
There was a Fun Bear Matt D was at the show.
Yeah.
I mentioned I have to give the last initial because Matt B got confused when I mentioned Matt on a previous thing without a surname letter. Matt and I did improv together in Chicago in 2002 or 2003. And have stayed in touch via social media and have played games online and stuff like that. And so he's a Fun Bear. And so I was like, hey, Ray will be in Columbus where you currently live. And he was immediately, I'm going to that show.
That's awesome.
And so he was delighted.
Oh, him and his wife were
very
fantastic.
complimentary, yeah.
They were great people.
Yeah.
It was really fun,
Yeah.
and it was cool. It was like that night being so like broken physically.
Yeah.
Where my head is just a cloud. I am just trying to like, if I'm lucky, I can like drug myself to sleep. With cold medicine and stuff.
Yeah.
And to have it go that well was so. It was such a relief because it's all I worried about for a week of just like. I am at my worst, and when I film a thing like this, I'm trying to show my best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can't just say at the front, hey, I'm going through it. My kid got me sick. You know what I mean? So, but it was really fun. But the thing I wanted to mention with that experience, when I go to a new city for comedy, I take a gamble on what hotel I end up in, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the area. I don't know what's good yet.
Yeah.
And then after a few times at a city, I usually find like that's the hotel.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not bad. It's like affordable. It's not cheap. I'm not staying at the Super 8 or anything,
Right.
but like staying somewhere decent, like a Holiday Inn Express is where my level is.
Me too.
Yeah. So I stayed
love a Holiday Inn Express.
at a Holiday Inn Express.
Me and Brad have had a lot of fights about it.
Just one fight.
That's right, yeah.
Just a lot of times.
It's happening again. And this Holiday Inn Express, I will not stay at again. It was not good.
Point Brad.
I'll kill you.
But I do think it had to do with the night that I was there, right? So
What happened?
So I was sick. So my plan had been do shows before the Don't Tell recording, right? In Columbus, meet some more people, do the thing. And then also like run the 10.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
not going cold
Yep.
into this thing. And because I was sick, I ended up changing my plans. So I did have to go from like, well, I ran it a bunch the weekend before, got super sick for a week, flew to Columbus. Now I'm going to do the 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird shit that you can't like explain to people when they're like, man, it must be so cool what you do. And I'm like, it is.
Yeah.
But also like, I can't call out sick.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a lot of
days.
specifics.
Right. I'm either losing money or an opportunity, or I might burn a bridge if I have to cancel a thing, whatever.
It's just like a lot of weird things that people don't realize.
Yeah.
I was just editing a new OG Tuesdays with Stories, and Mark was talking about a time he was going to go on late night. I don't know which show it was. It was either Fallon or Conan. And they told him 24 hours ahead of time that he had to cut about 45 seconds of material and fill it with different material.
Yeah.
The day before the show.
It's crazy.
So that means he had to either write or take existing stuff, go run it as many times as he could that night to get it as polished as possible for the next day.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff is the stuff that I think people don't even understand.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, in the past 10 years, I have a kid, right? And
Right.
you just start to get fucking sick because they come home with shit.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But there's been so many trips for comedy where I am just miserable sick. Miserable sick. And I feel bad. Like sometimes it's been like I'm on the road with someone. Like I'll bring like Derek Furtado to open.
Yeah.
Or like Rob Green, you guys know. And just like, guys, I'm sorry, but I am going to be... You don't want to be around me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be miserable this whole time.
Yeah.
But so I'm at this hotel. I'm feeling like shit. My game plan was I fly in late at night on Friday
Yeah.
because I was originally going to do shows. Fly in late at night,
Yeah.
sleep Friday night, do the show Saturday, and then have another flight early morning Sunday, and I'm
Right.
home. I was in Columbus for like 30 hours.
Yeah.
Right. So sleep was important. I was sick. I just want to fucking like lay down. At the hotel, unbeknownst to me, there was a huge concert nearby that was happening
Right.
on the same night as the show. And I had no idea about this. My Uber driver told me about it coming back.
Yeah, you said it was Alvin and the Space Monks.
Yeah. You saw this. Yeah. No, it was for Incubus, I think.
okay.
Or, man, I forgot who it was. It was like in that realm.
Hoobastank.
Yeah, it was like a Hoobastank, Incubus, fucking what, Puddle of Mud,
Right.
whatever it was.
Live.
It was in that exact era of music and the genre, everything.
Yep.
Like I haven't heard the name in so long. I think that's why I'm not remembering.
Right.
So I'm going to say Incubus. And what I didn't realize was like, oh, this hotel is a perfect affordable option for all of these people. So I get back, I'm feeling like shit. I just sweat like 7 gallons on stage, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like just but drained.
Yeah.
Yes.
Completely drained. The thing I've been worried about for a week is done. I can finally really feel as shitty as I've felt. You know what I mean? I get in the elevator. I have heard from the Uber driver about this thing. I get in the elevator. A man who was a time traveler from 2002
Yep.
Yeah.
is in the elevator with me. He's got a 30 rack in his arms, and he's standing there.
He's got a yellow ribbon on his lapel because it's 2002.
No, he had it on his his wrist.
Yes.
So I'm in the elevator. We're riding. It's like quiet, and he's like, "You go to the show?" Right?
Yeah.
He goes, "You go to the show?" And I went, "What?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, show Incubus." Right? And he's doing that. It was like he was a Will Ferrell character.
Yeah.
And this elevator was the slowest elevator in the world. Like to go 3 floors, I heard the whole thing about this concert.
Yeah.
But it was, you go to the show. And with the 30
Man,
rack.
The elevator breaks down. You're standing in silence, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Pardon me." What?
Did they do I found a reason to live?
Oh, maybe.
That was
And the
somebody
reason
else.
Is you.
Yeah. I don't think that was Incubus. It was somebody else.
And the
It's-
reason
that's-
is
that's Hoobastank.
Columbus, Ohio.
That's Hoobastank
Is
is
it?
the
Is it the
reason.
stank?
Yeah, it's Hoobastank is the
Hoobastankibus.
reason.
Ooh.
Now that's
Super
an
group.
interesting idea.
Here we go. Can we mash them?
Yeah.
Is there a puddle of them? So when I saw that 30 rack and that guy
Yep.
from 2002,
Yeah.
I went, oh no, right? Like it just clicked. And for the rest of the night, that fucking place was just unbearable. Like it was just all these fucking Hoobastank fans just milling about. I was in the Twilight Zone version of what you were doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in a place where all these communal fans are all together, and you're like, do, 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 hey! You know what I mean? Tequila, right?
Everyone's all good. Chuck.
And Sick Ray is next door. Like, I just want to sleep.
Yeah, but this was for like Hoobastank
Yeah.
folk. And listen, if you were a fan of that stuff when it happened, fine. There
Sure.
was plenty of those songs I liked.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But in 2025, I'm not like, fuck yeah. Finally, a reason to wear that bucket hat.
Yes.
Right? Like
Can I
it
make
was-
one comment?
Yeah.
Hoobastankibus and the Blowfish.
I'm fine with that. I am absolutely fine with that.
Get a cease and
We
desist letter.
We need to get Puddle in there.
I'm trying to get to one. I'm trying
That
to
is
find
fair.
it.
That is fair.
Yeah.
But man, I wish I remembered the exact thing. But it doesn't matter. So, but it was just trying to navigate my night. Going, I have a flight super early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've already asked, like, is the shuttle going at that time? You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh my
But then
God.
just everybody's like, you go to the Hoobastank? You go to the fucking Hoobastank? Like people fighting downstairs.
Love it.
I walk down to ask about the shuttle, and there's a couple that is there, and they're like, they haven't shut the fuck up downstairs, and my husband's going, and this guy wearing like an Incubus shirt is just like, if it happens again, I'm gonna go down there, and if I have to talk to him, it's good. You're gonna have to call the police and like stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh God, yeah,
I can
please.
see the beginning.
That's the height of hotel class for Chuck. So that's what Chuck thinks a hotel should be.
Well, this Qolumbus one, I don't think was a fair representative
Yeah, I
of
know.
what the Holiday Inn Express brand is.
We're HIE or die.
Oh, E. Okay.
I will DIE, please.
So it'd be so funny to flash back to the beginning of this episode, and it's the cold open, and you're getting your stuff out of the car, and you're like, man, I got to get myself together. I need a lot of sleep. I need a lot of rest. I just need a calm weekend. And you're walking in, and you see a flyer, and you're like, Butt Rockapalooza.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yes.
That's so funny, man.
Hat Backwards Festival?
yeah.
Right? It was
Not even as good as Limp Bizkit Fest. That's weird.
Yeah. No, it was truly it was just comedy.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But it's one of those situations where like there's been so many situations that you fall into doing this, but ideally you have somebody with you where
Yes.
you're like, oh my God, right?
Yes.
But in this situation, it was just me and just so just destroyed. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
man.
my body
Totally.
is done. My brain wasn't even. I was half there doing the show,
Yeah.
and my ear is killing me. And I'm just like, I just want to go home.
Oh my God.
To say though, I really do feel so fucking good about that set.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. That cake joke has been my little darling that I've been working on, and to put it in a place where it got the response that I was really hopeful it would get is so exciting. So when it does come out, I will be sure to let everybody know on the show when it's out from Don't Tell Comedy.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
love it, buddy.
It's
Yeah.
super fun.
I mean,
It's
I'm
super
very
fun.
excited for it. It's really, really cool.
But we were in similar but very different situations.
Absolutely.
Isn't that fun?
It is fun.
Yeah.
I do have a final little tag that I would like to put in here about the QS weekend.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy the hair guy, he was
Yeah.
recently featured on one of our episodes with his tattoo of Uncle O Grimacy.
Yeah, poor
Yep.
guy.
So Jimmy the hair guy was talked about on Tell 'em Steve Dave, the podcast, many times leading up to it, and Q saying, does Jimmy the hair guy, he'll come to Q West.
He got that ill-timed Jared from Subway tattoo.
That's right. He's like, someone's like, Jimmy, you want to check your phone? He's like, when I'm done.
Yeah.
When I'm... No, Jimmy. He's like, shut up.
Get
But-
the face just right.
creepier smile, creepier. And this has happened in a lot of ways to me as well over the years, and I'm sure you guys have dealt with this. When you have bigger, more famous people, sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, you got to come to this. Oh yeah, I want you to come to this. And when you're really, really getting into things, you're like, this means this. But as time goes on,
Oh, sure, yeah.
it's mostly just like a fun little, hey, whatever. And they're
Yeah.
just being pleasant, and you
Yeah.
don't get your hopes up and whatever. And that's happened to me before, especially with the Tell 'em Steve Dave crew over the years.
The times you flew on the Lolita Express.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were like, I thought this. No, it's just a hang.
Yeah, I got to get in the luggage department. But they were kind of messing around and saying, like, oh, maybe Jimmy will come. And Q was kind of poking fun at it in the thing. And he has a million responsibilities running the first comedy festival. His priority is not just paying for someone to come. And so Jimmy was like, am I going to come? Am I going to come? I hope I'm coming. He's texting me every day. I bring it up to Q a few times just to try to help him out. He doesn't end up coming.
Mm-hmm.
He needs someone to pay for his flight and lodging. He can't afford it.
Oh my God, that's weird. That's what everybody needs.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole weekend,
Do you know that most people, what they do to get that is they have like an exchange where they'll go to a place and they'll do a thing for probably 8 hours, every day.
Yeah.
Until they give them the money to do it. It's crazy.
Yep.
so Jimmy is in a group text with us. Brad's in the group text too. It's like a Tell 'em Steve Dave group chat with Get 'em and Rupert and all these people from it. And Get 'em is relentless with teasing Jimmy about not being at Q West, and Jimmy's seeing all the pictures come out and everyone's having a great time, all these people that he knows. And he starts texting me and spiraling. And he's like, I can't fucking take this. He's like, I'm going to block everybody in the group chat. I don't give a fuck if I don't talk to you guys anymore. I don't want you to ever mention
All right.
this to me again. And he
Is
completely...
this something he would want said right now?
he's fine. He had a complete mental breakdown about not being there
Yeah.
while he was at another festival with all of his friends somewhere else in Detroit.
Was this the Juggalo?
It was a Juggalo thing. It really was.
Yeah.
I knew it.
It really was
Yeah.
a Juggalo thing.
Yeah.
But he...
Hey, it's a Juggalo thing.
He was at a butt rock weekend in Columbus, Ohio. He was like, I'm jumping up and down on the floor. The
Guy's getting mad at me.
Yeah.
The way that he was like texting was a complete lunatic.
Yeah. He's
And
like,
in this scenario,
thank God right
exactly.
now, in my lowest of lows, I am surrounded by family. You know what I mean?
What a gathering.
This Faygo doesn't taste as sweet as it could.
He lost. He was threatening me. He was threatening Get 'em.
Well, it's because he was listening to this violent music.
Yeah, he wanted to.
One of the
arrest
guys, his name's
it's
Violent J.
it's not peaceful, Jay.
They've got hatchets and they thwack and whack.
me. Yep. It was so fucking funny. I mean,
Yeah.
and when we came back, a few days went by, and he's like, "Gonna talk to everybody. Listen. Sometimes you're going through a hard time," and I'm like, "Oh my god."
Listen, I got all the tent drugs out of my body from the gathering.
Yeah.
It was hilarious though,
Yeah.
and it's there's some levels to Jimmy the Hair Guy that you guys haven't been exposed to yet that I'm excited.
And I'm okay with that. I
hate
hope
you,
to
Ray.
remain unexposed. No, I like Jimmy, but like once we get into this territory, I'm like, I don't need to know that stuff. You know what I mean? I like saying hi to my neighbor when I see him. I don't need to go have dinner and watch him fight with his wife.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'm bringing him in. I want to bring him in more just to get all his feelings out. You know,
We don't need to
negative,
do that.
positive,
We don't need to
negative,
do that.
positive,
Come on.
negative.
You
Positive
started
would
a
be
little
there.
side cast. Do another one.
He
Did you fall downstairs just now?
he has a real issue with extreme lows
Yeah.
and extreme highs.
Yeah.
We were on the cruise.
As a stand-up comedian, surrounded by other stand-up comedians, I couldn't understand that in the least.
So he was on the cruise and he was on one of the shows and he did a rap battle with Ming Chen and he did really well and everyone was cheering for him in this gigantic room.
There aren't a lot of people of color at these things, are there?
I think so. Well, what color? Green?
Let's
Greenish?
not- I don't like getting into hues. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So he got
I'm
off
palette
stage.
blind, personally.
And you know what he said about his performance on the stage?
What?
I could have any woman on this boat.
That's pretty impressive. I wish I had that kind of confidence. You know what I mean? I wish I had the level of confidence for that. Right?
I told Q.
Yeah. Did he have saran wrap around his wrist to protect his new tattoo? When they see this.
Me and Q fucking died, and Q said, "I don't think I could have any woman on that boat." That's Jimmy for you. That's Jimmy in a nutshell.
I love it.
It's great.
I love it.
He pings back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
I talked to his girlfriend Michelle, who's super sweet,
Fiance.
and we kind of said he needs to find a middle ground, and that's where he's got to live between those two things. You know.
That's what I think a lot of medication does.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. This feels weird. This feels like we're talking behind his back.
Oh
I don't
no,
like-
he's a big fan. I love him. You can call in anytime.
Oh God, is he listening right
He's
now?
number. I think he's a number 3 fan.
Four.
You think it's 4. You think it's 51.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Well,
hopefully,
you haven't heard the rap out.
you know what? Jimmy should come on one day and kind of explain himself. That would be fun. That would be a good time.
There are people that do that for 1 hour, and you pay them.
Yes.
And they're called therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. No, that's who we should see.
therapist, psychologist,
I-
psychiatrist.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense.
On that mental health note,
Yes.
Brad, can you seal this sack of shame up?
I'd love
This isn't
to.
a sack of shame, though. That was. You know what? I apologize. This isn't a sack.
What's
of
it
shame.
a sack of?
Well, I said sack and immediately just thought of our mail sack episode.
Me
So I'm
too.
like, I wish I hadn't have said sack.
Well, let's think of a bundle or maybe a bushel.
Ooh, a bushel.
I like a bushel.
What's it a
And
bushel
that's
of?
biblical. So
Yeah,
I think you'd
sure.
love that.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yes.
Is bushel bump biblical?
Yeah, I mean the King James translation. So
Okay, so I'm sorry. Which one do you abide?
I've read the NIV.
Yeah.
So
Are you down with NIV?
yeah, you know me.
Okay. I was so hopeful that you would say it. I was so hopeful. We did it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Bible comedy.
Yes.
Oh man, I wish this was the post thing where we have the button and we come up with that then.
Oh shit.
Oh, we're never gonna hit that high.
All right.
We're not.
All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna try.
Okay, all right.
Well,
wrap it up.
folks, thank you all so much for sticking around with us this episode. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or otherwise, please send us an email, funbearablepod@gmail.com, or find us on socials @funbearablepod. We are always happy to hear from you. For Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten, I'm Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable. All right, I tried to drag it out to give you guys more time to think things.
What are your feelings on the Corundium Sea?
I also
I didn't have a lot of time.
read that.
I didn't have a lot of time. It's like SNL.
You know what
I mean? It may not be good, but it's coming out right now.
I'll say it's tricky.
It is tricky. It is tricky.